Hello, hello. All right. So what are we going to do today? I want to implement NPC interactions. So now the only thing that we can do is attack NPCs, right? But what I want to do is when I double click the NPC, I want to be able to talk with the NPC, meaning um, I want that chat window to appear instead of always attacking the NPC. Um, I do still want to be able to attack NPCs, so um, I'm going to implement the control key. So if we hit the control, then we're going to attack the NPC. If not, um, we'll quote unquote talk with the NPC. All right. So how are we going to do that? If I recall correctly, um, let's take a look at the AI. I think this is the one, right? Action, logout, say, handle. Yes, this is the one. All right. So when we get an action, I have to take a look if we are let's check for the control stuff. So log normal action, and this is going to be action dot action. Well, all right. Let's see, what do we get? Which one is the game server? I think this is the one. Crap. Okay, so if I click the NPC, I got action 110, and then if I click with control, enable to handle packet A. What do you mean, bro? Did I broke it? Seems like. Unable to handle packet A. What? Unable to handle packet. Is it? I thought the control action was the same. Seems like no. So let's go ahead and check on the L2J project. Attack maybe? Attack request. Okay. So let's see what happens if I try to handle this case. Attack request. Printf. Whoa. Log normal. Attack request to do. Something like that. Let's see what we. And I think I'm gonna have to get rid of this log message as well. But for now, that's fine. Let's see. So if I hit this, attacking request to do. All right. So it seems like it's another packet. Now, what's the action property then for? Let's go ahead and check this. Action and action ID. Oh, so it's for the shift. Okay. Well, for the time being, we don't want to do anything with the shift, so let's go ahead and ignore that for now. And let's check what do we got on the attack request. Hopefully it's a simple one. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as the action. Yeah, pretty much the same. Okay, let's go ahead and implement that. But first, how do I get rid of the attack icon? Hey Jason, how's it going, man? Win 11? This is not Windows 11. This is Windows 10, and I just installed a plugin, or I don't know, like a tool to make the bottom bar transparent and center. All right. So let's go ahead and add the new packet. This should be on JS client. Yes. No, this is a project from scratch in C using the L2J project as documentation or reference. So this is my own server from scratch in C. Right, and I got the comment here. All right. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and copy this and say attack request. And I don't think I need that. So this one was ID. Yes, sir. Origin. And the attack ID. Yeah, I think it's been like 2 or 3 years by now. Obviously, I'm not working on this every day, but it's been a long time since I started. Do I wanna? Yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and keep that as well. Even though probably I'm not gonna use it. 0, simple click, 1 shift click. Okay. No, this is C. This is not C++. And the reason was because I was looking for a project to learn C, right? I always liked the C programming language, but I never found a good project to work with. So I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and do a Lineage 2 server. Although the initial goal was to be able to respond the client with invalid credentials. You know what I mean? So that was the initial goal, and I think it took me like a year to accomplish that. Um, and it was very very basic. Like no matter what the user put on the credentials, the only thing that it had to do was to answer this is invalid. And then from then on, I don't know. I keep on implementing things. You know, it's quite fun. What part? Action request. Yeah, so I don't know why did I call the project L2 auth? I think it was because I just wanted to make the login part, right? And then I keep on implementing things, and now we are at the point where you can log in and do very basic things, right? Like walk, spawn NPCs, attack, and chat. You can also log in with multiple accounts. So far so good. But still, it's quite basic. I never played Aeon. Was it good? Check request back. Here we got the destination and the source. Action request. I think I can do the same for. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy paste. There we go. Lovely. And let's make sure this is in the right order. So object ID. Okay. Origin. X, Y, and Z. X, Y, and Z. And action. Seems to be fine. Thank you, man. It's been quite fun working on this. Alright, so destination, packet, seems to be fine. Alright, so let's go ahead and say JS AI handle attack request. And request. And I think I'm gonna copy this as well. Why not? JS action, no, attack request. And then attack, attack, is packet, attack, request and back. I don't need that. Yeah, so when I began working on this, I did, I mean, I was familiar with the concepts of sockets and things like that, but I was very, very rusty. So I had to learn everything from scratch, basically. And it's actually quite hard because at the very beginning, like, if you did something wrong, the whole client will crash. And the fun part was that you didn't knew what was wrong, right? You didn't got a debug message or anything saying, "Hey, this is the problem." So I had to basically uh, go through the entire code base and check what was wrong. It was a pain in the ass to um, get the encryption correct as well, because even if you missed like one byte or one character, like the whole thing didn't work. And again, you didn't have like proper debug messages saying, hey, this is wrong. This is the part where you got it wrong. Is it more difficult to do it in C? So this is the interesting thing about C. I come from a higher language background, right? Such as PHP, Java, JavaScript, Ruby, all of that thing. And initially, C seems a bit more difficult, right? Especially when you have to deal with strings, where you can't just simply, I don't know, append, do basic operations such as append. Well, you can, but you don't have the operators, right? You can't do string plus another string. At the same time, you don't have dynamic arrays, something that you get quite used in those higher language programming languages. So initially it was quite a pain in the ass, right? But then the more I used C, the more I noticed that you don't really need those type of things, right? As long as you specify, I don't know, fixed amount of space, so for strings or for arrays, things like that, it will work just fine. And honestly, it makes the whole thing a lot easier, you know? So the more and more I used C, I felt like I was being spoiled by the higher languages, by the higher programming languages, and this was actually easier. But you have to work with it, right? Some of the things, like you saw some of the things, but once you get your head around it, it makes sense, right? At least for me, right? And now I'm at the point where I want to use C for everything. I know it's not ideal, like you have to choose the tools depending on the work, but I got really used to C and I really like it. I really like the simplicity of the programming language. You don't have a lot of things to learn. And I also like the transparency, right? Because you don't really have abstractions here. Which means you know the details, you know the inner details, and you know how everything works, right? Whereas in Java, for instance, everything is an abstraction, and then you have to work with those concepts in mind, right? And to be honest, that's quite a pain in the ass. And the thing is, so where was I? Attack request. Yeah. So one last thought about the abstractions. Like one of the most, well, I don't know if one of the most, but like usually when you program in Java, you got this quote unquote good practice of always programming towards an abstraction, right? Everything has to be an abstraction. You have to code to an interface. And the problem about that is it forces you to think about cases where how can I say it? Cases that may not exist at all, right? So for instance, in Java, you got, I don't know, the concept of a door, right? And of course, you have to have an abstraction for that, right? You have to go ahead and add an interface for that. And then you got these questions about, well, what if the door is made of wood? What if the door is made of, I don't know, steel? What if the door is made of, I don't know, rocks? And because you're dealing with an abstraction, you have to keep those thoughts in mind, right? What if you want to expand the concept? What if the door now has, I don't know, X amount of features, right? And you can think about that because you're working in the concept of abstraction. Anything can happen, right? But then you come back in C, and even though you can do things like that, you start noticing that the code becomes complex. You start noticing that something is not quite right. And then you make the refactor. You say, you know what? I'm gonna deal with a door made of wood, and that's it. No abstraction. The door will be wood, and that's it. And if I got another door, I'm gonna make another function or something like that. That's it. No abstraction, no bullshit. Everything becomes so clear, so simple, no bullshit. And that's something that I noticed that C forces me to do, right? Bring all the concepts and the features to the ground, right? What are the things that you really need? Don't talk about abstraction, don't talk about obscure cases that you will never have. Like for instance, do you really need a, a dynamic array with unlimited amount of items on it? Probably not. You just need 10. And that's it. You got 10 items. No more, no less. It's just a simple array of 10 items. Everything becomes so easy. That's what I found on C, right? If you want to work with C using concepts from Java or JavaScript or things like that, you'll have a hard time. But if you work with simple concepts, C makes a lot of sense. And the good thing about C is that you start to notice those problems right away, right? Because in C you have to be specific. You have to say, all right, how much memory do you want, right? And then you can, like, you got two paths, right? Are you going to work with, I don't know, a limited set of memory, or do you need unlimited dynamic stuff? Usually you don't, and you can simplify things quite a bit. That's why I really like C. It's simple, it's flexible, no abstractions. You can really tell what's happening. So yeah, let's see what attack request. We got the target. We impact the request. The only thing that I found about so with C, again, you can definitely notice when you are over engineering things in C, right? And one of the things that I don't really like how I solve for the time being, maybe it's because I'm lacking some experience, right? One of the things that I don't really like how I handle it's buffers and size of the buffers, right? And this is simply, I don't know, you want to put some information from buffer A into buffer C. And in the past few days, I was thinking on a solution for this, right? A solution that is correct, but at the same time, it's not a pain in the ass to use, right? And for the time being, I only got the solution that it's correct, but it is a pain in the ass. And that is, you have to specify. So for instance, if you want to move information from a buffer into another one, you have to specify, all right, the source buffer, the destination buffer, the size of both of the buffers, and how many bytes you want to send, right? How much information you want to send. So this is correct, right? Because you can tell exactly, all right, so I got this much information that I can move into this destination. So you won't have problems about reading past the buffer, and you won't have the problem where you put more information that the buffer can hold. The thing is, if you notice, you have to pass quite a bit of parameters into that function, right? And that's a pain in the ass. And that's the thing that I want to solve, right? And for the time being, I don't have an answer yet. But hopefully I'll find a solution that it's not also correct, but at the same time not a pain in the ass, and it's, I don't know, quote unquote elegant, right? For the time being, I'm gonna have to use the pain in the ass solution. And the pain in the ass, it's not because I'm lazy, but because something in my mind it's telling me this could be cleaner. This could be better, but I don't know how to do it, right? So I'm gonna have to bash my head for a few more days to get the proper answer. All right. So we're getting the attack request. We get the attack request from the client. We try to find the target. If the target doesn't exist, then we don't do anything. And if it does, we select the target. That's pretty much it. Well, this is going to behave exactly the same as the action target, so I'm assuming this should work. What's the problem? Redefinition, handle attack request. Is it? Did I? What's going on? Handle attack request. Oh, okay. So it's using the action. All right. Okay. So the attack request then. Right. Okay. So the first time that we get an action request from the client, meaning we select the NPC, we call this function. When we call this function, we go here. In here, we update this, select target, and send status. Got it. And then what happens? This is another thing that I don't really like. It's how I'm handling the state machine. It may be correct, but it's not that easy to follow. So here we select the character. Okay. Packet type. Idle state. Oh, there we go. Okay. So when a request comes, this function gets called. Then based on the state of the character, we select which function we want to call. We go here. And then if it's already selected, so the first time we click on the NPC, the player will jump to this select NPC state, right? Meaning we will call this function. So we will have the NPC selected, meaning the second click will try to attack the NPC. Good. All right. So now what I have to do is update the action stuff. No, sorry. I have to get rid of this function. So in here, we're forcing the attack. In this part, I will have to say JSAI handle interaction request, right? All right, and then I have to make sure that I update here. Selected state, interaction request. There we go. Is that better? Yes, it is. All right, so what do we got now? If we spawn a new NPC, I select it, and all right. So for some reason, oh, it's because, yeah, okay. So it's fine. I didn't replace the logic, so this is fine. This is behaving exactly as it was. So let's go ahead and let the NPC kill me. Come on, there we go. All right, fixed. And now what happens if I try to attack it? So we come here, no, this one, and then, okay. So nothing happens. Why is that? What was the action for attacking? This one. Alright, so this is idle. From the idle state, we can attack stuff. So we come here, we unpack. If the target doesn't exist, we go idle, that's fine. But then, if the target exists, we will attack it. So attack. How is the... I don't recall how did I implement the attack request. So this is the action. We're selecting the target in here, which is fine. And then for the interaction, what do we do? Select, go idle. Just select target, character, and target. Okay. So then attack request. I'm not sure if we need to select the character, but let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so if the target exists, and then what am I doing here? Oh yeah, this is logics just for the... Right, so we don't need to do that. Alright, we can simplify things like that because that was logic from the select stuff. So now I should be able to attack the player. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Nice. Nice. There we go. Nice. Perfect. Alright, so now what we have to do is update the interaction code. So interaction, what do we want to do? Well, let's leave this check for now. Find the target, and then yeah, we no longer need this. And then I don't think we have to select this. So action. Let's check what's happening here. Yeah, we are selecting the NPC, so we don't need to do that again. And now in here, I'm gonna say, show me the HTML message. Sorry, the chat message, the chat window. And for that, I'm gonna use this one. JSAI show HTML. There we go. We got that. We got the character, and then hi, this is a test. Is that alright? So this should be working. So spawn this, close this, and then if I select, hey, there we go. Although for some reason I'm not getting the oh, because I have to send valid HTML. Okay, no worries. Okay, so I'm gonna say HTML and then body, and close the body and close the HTML. Like so. And now, alright, there we go. Let's build this again and see what happens. Select again. Hey, there we go. Lovely. There we go. Now, we have to make sure that the character is close enough. Otherwise, you can interact with the NPCs being far away, which is not ideal. So, how can we do that? So for the attack, when we attack the NPC or any other character for that matter, we first make sure that the character is close enough. Attack. All right. Oh, we don't do this in character, but I think we do it in AI. So let's see. Mm, okay. So we got the tick, we try to attack, and then this is where we check for the distance. Yes, sir. Alright, so I think we will have to do something similar. Alright, so let's go ahead and add a new state. I'm going to say AI moving to interact. Alright. And okay. Here, add a new case. Yes, sir. And then JS AI interact. Okay, and we don't have this function, which is fine. I'm gonna make a copy of the attack because these are very similar behaviors. So interact, and I'm gonna say source and target. Hang on a second, I'm gonna turn on the lights. It's quite dark here. Alright, so the behavior, it's quite simple. We have to make sure we're close enough to the target, and if you're not, we have to move. We have to walk towards the target. So we'll say source, source. So, and then let's go ahead and add a new state. Actually below here, AI interacting, like so. And this is going to be AI interacting. AI stands for artificial intelligence. I don't think we have to check over CTs. Check the source. If it's too far away, walk to the target's position. Yes, sir. There we go. Okay, and now I'm gonna say AI moving to interact. Like so. Why am I getting this as new field C? What do you mean? Yes, it does. Okay. So update this. Good. And then, well, I think I'm gonna say JS AI on NPC interact or interaction. Oh, like so. There we go. Don't do anything. No, we don't want to attack it. And that's pretty much it. Okay. This looks good. And let's go ahead and implement this as well. So static void. And we need the game server state, the NPC, and the player. Yeah, I don't think we can interact with anything other than the player, so that's fine. All right, okay. So now here I'm gonna say, just for now, well, I will get rid of this to make it properly. And we'll put it in here, like so. There we go. Perfect. And then let's make sure this is correct. Face AI interacting. I don't think we want to do anything in here. So yeah, let's ignore this for now. So let's go back to the beginning. Crap. Also need to do this. Okay, let's do it real quick. Interacting, and then AI moving to interact. Right. That's fine for now. All right. So the first time we come here, this is going to be idle. That's fine. Then we check for the request, which is going to be action. We go here. Yes, and then we select the target, and now the new state of this is going to be this one. Okay, so when we get a new state, when we get a new request, the state will be this one, meaning this function will be called. The request will be this one, which is going to call this. In here, we will check for the target, and then here, what do I want to say? What do we do in the attack stuff? Oh, I want to call this. All right. So when we interact here, all right. So we call this, the character will be character, and the target is perfect. Good. And then we come here, and what do we do here? All right, if the target doesn't exist, we go idle, then if the target does exist, it will be the new target. The state will be AI interacting. If the distance is too far, we will walk towards the target and we will update the state to this. But if we are close enough, we check if it's an NPC, and if it is, we call this function, which will display the chat window, which is fine. And then we have to check for the AI moving to interact state. Okay. This state will be used here. This function gets called every 100 milliseconds, I think, if I recall correctly. And this is a function that we use to calculate the character's position. So when we come here, the state will be moving to interact. We will update the position of the character, that's fine, and then we will try to interact with the target again. And thus the cycle will repeat until we are close enough to the target. So in theory, all of this should work just fine. So now, if I spawn the new NPC, we click on it, we click again, there we go, and hey, that's working, nice. Alright, and now I have to fix this other issue. And I don't remember how I fixed this. So, okay, so why am I not able to move? And this is because of the state machine, right? This is to prevent invalid states or requests made to the game, right? So for instance, if I were on the, I don't know, if I were on the lobby where I select the character, it wouldn't make sense to send a attack request or something like that, right? And using the state machine, I can make sure that I'm in the right state when I receive some of those packets, right? So that I don't have to later check, did this player select the target? Is it in the proper state? And things like that. You know what I mean? I can avoid having certain checks. The thing is, it becomes a pain in the ass sometimes. But at least it, well, it kind of guarantees that the state is a bit more correct when doing certain things, right? Again, giving you another example. Let's say that my character is root or stunned. We will update the state of the character to be that. So if I receive another move request, I don't have to check if it's root or stunned, because the state will be updated to ignore those type of packets as long as the state is root or stunned. You know what I mean? Some of those cases are a bit easier to do this way instead of having to check every time when you try to move the character, right? Because otherwise you will have to, so when we try to move a character, you will have to check, is it stunned? No, okay. Is it rooted? No, okay. Then you can move. Instead, we rely on the states. If it's rooted or stunned, we will simply ignore the requests to move. And if we try to move, and the move function is called, we're certain that we can in fact move the character and we don't have to make any checks, any further checks. May not be the best explanation, but if you want more information, just go ahead and look up for state machines. All right. So how do we fix the this case? I think we can just go ahead and say, you know, if you are interacting or moving to interact, you can do all the actions that you can if you are idle, for instance. Which means you are going to be able to move, interact again, log out, chat, restart, validate the position, and show the map. Yeah, I think this is fine. All right, let's see. Okay. So let's go ahead, interact. Perfect. And now I can move. Perfect. Lovely. So we get interactions. Very nice. Very nice. Although right now I have to double click. I think the proper behavior will be if you already have selected the NPC, you only need to click once in order to interact. So I shouldn't need to click twice if I got the NPC already selected. But I guess it's fine for now. Alright, so how long have we been streaming so far? Not even an hour. Okay, well. Yeah, I don't know about the movement behavior. It doesn't look pretty good. But I guess it's fine. And can I select this? Yes, I can. Alright. Can I attack it? Whoa. Why am I going towards this direction? Oh, maybe I have to click Control. And then pray to God that I select the NPC. Okay, what if I send the attack request? Can I... Why am I going this way? Could it be that the... I don't think so, but... Maybe it thinks the NPC is that way instead of here? I don't think that's the case, because if it's dead, all the move requests should be ignored. But that's something to fix in another session. Hey, wondering how's it going, man? We just implement interactions. Check out this, double click, and what happens? We got the chat window. Yes, sir. I think we will have to also make the NPC look towards the character, but I'm gonna do that later. Very nice. Very nice. Is the chat working? Yes, sir, it is. No, it's not. This is the Lineage 2, a game made by NC Soft. I don't know if it's Korean. I think it is a Korean company. It was very successful in the years 2014 and 2006, 2004 and 2006. and then it kind of died. And now everything is WoW, League of Legends. What is it? The other one? Valorant, and then Counter-Strike. But yeah, this is an old game. Nobody's playing it, and I'm just building the server emulator. All right. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and push this. Let's make sure that it didn't do anything stupid in the code. All right. Did it done hard code the message, but for now that will do. And then what else do we got? Maybe I shouldn't hardcode the well, I don't know. I don't know how to handle previous states. I don't know if I want to implement a queue for this. So instead of hardcoding it, like if we don't have a target, instead of hardcoding this, kind of like popping the state and going to the previous one? Not sure. Sorry, but I don't use Beam that much. I'm not. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I don't use Beam that much. I only use it for small text, um, small things. Other than that, to me it's a pain in the ass. Um, yes, this one is fine. All right. I don't know if we want to interact with players as well. Like, I don't remember what are the actions that you can do with double clicking another character. I think it starts to follow the player. But for now, that's fine. What is this? Attack request. All right. Interaction, yes sir. All right. Okay, this one is fine. Crap, I forgot to change the bloody branch. Okay, no problem. Can I check out? No, I can't. Yay. Git stash. Git 101. Trying not to screw things up. Check out master, git pull, origin master, rebase. Git stash pop, and now everything. I was hoping some errors, but I'll take it. Alright. Yep, everything seems to be in place. Who would have thought I can use Git? Alright. Client packet. Yes, this is fine. And what about this? Yes, this is fine. No, I'm a programmer, but this is my hobby project. I've been working on this like 2, 3 years now, and just for good sake, let's make sure that everything works. Well, at least I can walk. Let's see. Yes, sir. That works. And what about interactions? Hey, will you look at that? It works. What about the tanking? Yes, sir. There we go. Lovely. So, implement NPC interaction. Basic NPC interaction. There we go. And push master. No errors. Nice. Clean. And implement basic NPC interaction. Lovely. Alright, guys. A little bit of a bit of a short stream now today, but at least we did some progress. Well, the best advice that I can give you is build stuff, upload everything to GitHub, and then um, when you get an interview, go ahead and say, "Hey, this is the things that I really like. This is the things that I worked on. This is the problems that I fixed. I did it this way because of A, but I found other solutions such as B, and currently I'm learning about X." You know, that's the things that everyone likes to hear from a candidate. Just go ahead and build things, and upload everything to GitHub. You know, that shows um, the the companies and people that you're being active and you're actually doing stuffs, right? Are you interested in the web section of programming, or? Yeah, don't worry about it. Like, you only need like a handful set of commands to use Git. You just need git add, git commit, git push, that's it. Learn the basics, break stuff. That's how you learn. And then that's also a good thing about learning that way, right? Because you encounter all of those problems, and then you can talk about that in the interviews as well. Like one time, I was in the project, I screwed everything up by throwing these comments, and then I fixed those with X, B, and C instead of blindly copying everything from Stack Overflow. Also, go to interviews, even if you're not prepared. That's how you know what are you going to get asked, and you also learn how to take in interviews, right? Because that's a skill as well. Knowing how to take an interview. Nope, I did not. I learned everything. Um, I'm a self-taught person. I didn't even finish high school. I don't know how to. So I'm from Argentina. I don't know how you guys like. I don't know how your school levels, I guess you could say. But I didn't finish the whole school. I was bored. I was mainly going to sleep, and I dropped. Then I tried to build a. Well, I didn't try to succeed, but I was building a game for browsers. I don't know if you're familiar with games such as Gladiators or O Game, things like that. Games that you can play on the browser, right? Which were quite popular on the 2000s. Yeah, so I was building my own. I think I took like 2 years to build that. Um, you could play the game. It wasn't very fun. I guess I got like 10 people playing, and it died. But the thing about that is, when I took the interview, my so initially I was also dreaming about wouldn't it be cool to be working as a programmer? So to me that was like an unreachable goal, right? So at the time I was working at the army. So I went to the army. It was 1 year um, doing the how do you guys say, like, voluntary? So I spent 1 year at the army, and then I took an interview because I was getting quite tired of the army. I got the interview, and then the only thing that I did was talk about that project. So the game, I built the game using PHP, MySQL as the database, and AngularJS for the front end, right? And believe me when I say, so keep in mind that I have built the game, right? I took like 2 years to build the game. Nobody played it. But I decided to upload the project to GitHub. Actually, you can go to my profile, right? And where are you? Where are you? There we go. Okay, so this is a project, right? So I built the project. I spent like 2 years, I think. Nobody played it. And then I went to the army. I spent 1 year at the army, and at that time, I couldn't do too much programming, right? Because I wasn't even in my uh, on my born city, so everything was new to me, and I wasn't able to do too much programming. To be honest, we had like 1 week, like every month, I guess. No. Every weekend, I traveled back to my city, and then I did a little bit of programming, and then I had to go back to the army. So I was getting quite rusty at the time, right? I spent like an entire year without programming, or barely programming. Then I got um, tired of the army, and I resigned. At that time, I was living with a friend, and I was looking for a job, right? Shitty jobs that I wasn't really interested in taking. So I wasn't putting that much effort into it. And then I remember that one friend shared with me a page for um, with programming jobs, right? This is where I found a company called Hashtag. So you had like, look, I mean, I saw a lot of um, jobs, and I just applied to those that I thought I could be a good candidate for, right? And to be honest, I wasn't expecting anything from it, but then I got an email. Hey, we saw your, the usual stuff. We saw your application. We think you may be a good candidate, a good fit for the position. Would you be open to take an interview with us? Obviously, I was cheating bricks at the time, but I said yes, sure, why not? And I didn't like, as I said, I was getting quite rusty, and some of the concepts, I forgot some of the concepts, right? But nonetheless, I went ahead and took the interview, and I said, hey, um, this is my experience. I've been working on this project for, I don't know, 2 years. Um, it had this and this. Like literally, I just talk about the project, and they say, okay, that sounds great. Not only that, I told them you can actually go ahead and take a look at the code. Like I just uploaded everything to GitHub. Go ahead and inspect the code, see if it looks good to you. And when I finished the interview, I wasn't expecting too much. It was a friendly conversation, not an interview, I guess, because I didn't usually expect like technical questions or things like that, but I just talk about this project. So I thought, well, maybe even though it went quote unquote well, I don't think anything will happen, right? And guess what? Um, I got a new email and they say, hey, Franco, we think you're the perfect match. Would you be interested in joining us? Could you imagine the feeling that I was getting from that email? Like, not only I was gonna be working remotely because this was a company that even though it was in Argentina, it was in another city, right? But I was gonna be able to work remotely, and I was getting the same payment as I did on the army. So it was great. Um, it was quite fun. And then from then on, I just I don't know. I think I got I just keep on. How's the expression? Um, Getting higher in the ladder. Then I move on to another company, move out to a new city, did it again, and now I work as a freelancer, which means I get paid uh, quite more, and the hours are quite flexible, right? Basically, I decide my work hours. So yeah, just go ahead, build build things. Well, so when I applied to the jobs, I looked for companies looking for the things that I knew, right? PHP, Angular, CSS, MySQL, things like that, you know? I wasn't blindly applying to everything because when you're applying to a job, you have to be able to do it, right? Otherwise, you're just wasting the company's time and yours as well. So go ahead, build things, and then apply. That's pretty much it. The thing is, and about the college, the college, they don't really care about that. They only care about if you can deliver, right? If you can do the work, Do you have experience? Good. Then I was getting interested in Java, so I built my own programming language using that, and I also uploaded the code to GitHub, and this is it, right? But you get the point. You have to build things. You will learn quite a bit, and you will be quite flexible as well, right? Because doing these type of things, like for instance, take the previous project, the game, the browser game. You have to build the database, meaning you have some knowledge of how to store and retrieve information. You have to build the backend, meaning you have to be able to, well, implement business logic, in this case, the game itself. Then you have to build the front end, which means you have to build, you have to be able to know how to present the information to the final user. And then you have to upload everything to the internet, right? You have to be what is it called? You have to configure everything so everyone can access to these things, right? And if you take all of those points in consideration, that makes a very good candidate, because not only you can code, you can actually deliver value, right? But again, like, keep in mind that when I was building all of this, I didn't knew that much. I learned by breaking things and implementing things, maybe in the in not in the most clean or correct fashion, but hey, it did work. Smart person, not really. To be honest, no. And the thing is, like, what do you mean by smart? Like, um, is it the amount of things that I know? Is it how easy I can learn concepts? Like, what do you mean by that? But generally, I wouldn't consider myself a smart person. I just like programming, right? I really like to take the practical approach, right? When I learn things, I like to. I don't like the theory that much. I like to go ahead and do things, right? And then I will learn a little bit about theory, right? Because with that you connect everything in it, and you kind of grasp the concepts real nice, right? Then you got the, oh, that's because of how this works. Okay, that makes sense, right? But if you go with the theory first, it's a bit more complicated, I think. But yeah, I wouldn't consider myself a smart person. I just like programming, and I do it daily. Do I? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do it daily, many hours every day. That's the thing. It's just a skill, right? How do you become proficient in a particular skill? You just practice. That's it. And if you can publish that practice, also if you have a blog, that's like um, that's one of the things that you can also one of the best things that you can do as early as possible, right? I mean, the stuff you're talking about, I don't think so it will be able to, for me to do this project. Don't worry, you have to start from the beginning, right? For instance, when I began, what I did, I began quite early. Um, I think I was like 6 or 8 years old, and I began using the front page program from Microsoft. And it was basically like Word, but for web. You could write a few things, add images, some styling, bold, set the text color, and that's pretty much it. And then you were able to open that up in the browser. Um, I began like that, right? And then I kept learning based on the things that I wanted to do, right? I didn't just learn programming just because. I was learning based on the things that I needed. Because if you put this in perspective, right? Let's say that you want to learn math. Well, that's like too abstract, right? Math is a big area. And why do you want to learn math, right? You have to have the necessity, right? Why are you doing certain things, right? Otherwise, it's gonna be boring and you will drop it out quite early. So at the time, I was being quite hooked up with this game, right? This one, and I wanted to learn to program or to do a few things in order to implement what is it called? Well, servers, right? And then, so for instance, if you got a game, well, usually you need an account, right? All right, so there is a necessity. So how do you like how can you build that system? So then you go to the internet, you put how to create a login, and then you will find out about backend, databases, programming languages, things like that. At the very beginning, you won't understand a lot of things, and maybe a bit frustrating, but little by little you will get the grasp of it, and you will start to accomplish things, and then you kind of connect all the concepts, and then I don't know, it becomes easier, right? But that's how I did it, right? I needed to do a few things, and then I learned. I didn't start one day saying I want to learn programming. No, that's I don't think that's how it works. First of all, I wanted to build a web. How do you build a web? Well, you have to know HTML. What is HTML? How do you structure the page? Okay, well, that's fine. You can display a bit of text, images, and things like that. But then I would like to, I don't know, set some styles. How do you do that? Then you come up with CSS. All right. And then I want to make my page a bit more dynamic. So for instance, I want to implement fucking pop-ups and ads all over the place. How do I do that? Well, um, you learn about JavaScript, right? And then look backwards. You have learned HTML to implement a page, CSS to style it, and JavaScript just to annoy people. That's it. Go ahead, take an review, profit. Hang on a second. Because I was going to meet my girlfriend at a bar, so I kind of have to check the cell phone, you know? But yeah, that's basically it. Hopefully I'm not boring. Hopefully I'm not boring everyone out. But if I am, well, it is what it is. I'm gonna I think I'm gonna be leaving. I'm gonna leave in a few minutes. So I don't know if anyone else has any questions. Is anybody am I getting Oh yes, okay. So I got some spectators. I'm not talking to the wall here. I always wanted to make some bots for games or some scripts to make stuff and life easier. Basic stuff. Also, I wanted to help other people to fix their problems. Well, that's what programming is all about. Building things to fix problems. Start with very basic things. Otherwise, you're gonna get demoralized quite easy, right? Imagine an architect saying, "Hey, I want to build an hotel with 15 floors." Well, maybe you will be better if you begin with a house. Small little things. That's the key. But you have to do it. And if you upload everything to the web, that's better. And also, if you write about it, that's even better. How I build this tool with no knowledge. That's a title. If you get an interview with a company and you mention that, that's a lot of points, believe me. Also, it makes so when you try to explain concepts, that's when when you really know if you get the concept or not, right? Because if you start to jiggling and mixing things and it's like, well, maybe you don't really get the concept, right? But when you can clearly and simply explain the concept or whatever, that's when you know you get it, right? And when you write about it, you solidify the what is it called? Well, the concepts, right? And then it's hang on a second. about that. So I'm gonna leave at 10 p.m. in about 1 hour and a half, I think. Quick math. Yes. So yeah, if you got a blog, you have to explain things, you have to be clear, and then it becomes easier to talk about it, right? Oh yes, one time I screwed everything up in Git, and this is how I solved it. I actually wrote about it in this article. This is the link if you want to check it out. Right? Publicity. How to sell yourself. Talk. So that reminds me, when I was building the game, I was hosting the page, or well, the game, in a hosting called Duplica. Yes, Duplica. I think I was like 16 years old, 17 years old, somewhat in that range. And then they saw that I was building the project in PHP using a framework called G, uh, and they got interested. They got interested in the well the progress that I was doing, right? How I was using their platform to upload the game. So they told me, hey, will you be interested in writing how are you doing that in our blog? And I think they gave me like a few months for free. That was pretty cool. A little bit of a random story, but yeah, it is what it is. Any other question? Any other story you would like for me to tell you? The key is to do things, break it. That's how I learn. And obviously do it for a reason, right? Otherwise, it's quite stupid. You will get bored. I kind of like this, you know? It's quite relaxing. And I don't want to code anything else because I know I'm not going to be able to finish the features and the feature that I start, and I don't like it. I don't like to leave things in the middle. So sorry if you were expecting code. And obviously just for a little bit of oh, you know what? On GitHub, this may be interesting for you. On GitHub, you can have your own space or page, I guess, for free. And this is called GitHub Pages, I think. Yeah, see? So you can have your blog for free, you don't have to pay anything. And this is mine, actually. Where is it? This one, right? It's been a long time since I wrote anything about it. But yeah, that's one way you can have your blog online for free. And then share with the people. I was thinking about updating this to use um, what was I saying? I was thinking about updating this to use simple tools, right? Because now I don't write on the blog because I have to install Ruby and then that's a pain in the ass. Yeah, so things like pages are becoming quite popular. You also got, I think it's Cloudflare pages. Yeah, so this is the same but using Cloudflare. And then you also have, what is it called? And it's quite popular, but I don't recall it. How is it called? Netlify? There we go. Netlify. To be honest, I don't know why people use this, but hey, it's something that it's getting traction. I don't know what's the fuss about this because I saw this and it's like the same that I don't know 100 companies provide, but yeah, for some reason now this is popular. And then you also got Vercel, I think it is Vercel, or yeah. And this is the same. I don't know why this is popular now, but even though the exact same features that this company provides was known for quite a long time, but for some reason everybody is hooked into this and this is popular as well. So, but yeah, um, you can also upload your page using this and it's free. Sure thing, man. Take good care. Alright, guys. I don't know if anybody else has a question or something like that. If not, I don't want to bore you. And I think I'm gonna get ready for the bar. I'm gonna grab some nice beers. Apparently, according to my girlfriend, this place has a pretty good beer. The thing about good beer, and I don't know if it's something that happens on wherever you are right now, but here in Argentina, we got beer that it's quite similar to drinking pee, right? It's crap. It's crap, right? It's shit. And when you taste good beer, like good beer, you immediately recognize the shit that you get on every place. I will very much like to try that one, but here in Argentina, like the selection is quite narrow. But yeah, the thing is, you get a nice beer, and then you immediately recognize I'm drinking shit. And surprise, surprise, in all the bars, you get shit. And it's really hard to find good bars. So let's hope, pray to God, we got some good beers here in the new place that my girlfriend found. Hopefully. Otherwise, it's gonna be whiskey, or I don't know if you guys know it, Fernet. We'll see. This is quite nice. Back when I was learning how to do this, like, we didn't have these services. Everything was a pain in the ass. I don't know, man. I like to mix. One time I think I did, um, what is it called? Well, suffice to say that I puke the whole fucking walls. It was a great time. Lovely. I was on a vacation trip with some coworkers. The whole fucking wall puked. Very nice. The smell. Jesus fucking Christ. Good memories. Kinda. But good memories. It is what it is. You gotta have fun, man. You know? Mixing few things and then all of a sudden you can't hold it. Even if, like, the bathroom, we were sleeping on, uh, what is it called? Like, it wasn't a, well, it was a good room, right? And the bathroom was like a few steps from the bed, right? Still, I couldn't manage to go to the bathroom. The fucking smell. The vinegar, it was like, it was fucking terrible. It is what it is. And then I slept. When everybody else was like, shit, the smell is so fucking strong that they couldn't. Like, good times. But yeah, it is what it is. Alright, guys. Take care, Wondering. Have a good one. Alright, guys. If nobody else has any questions or things like that, I think I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna get ready. Let's pray to God we got some good beers. Otherwise, whiskey will be. I'm gonna leave you with the links for the project's repository if you would like to download it and try it out. You can go ahead and download the releases. Just go ahead and zip the zip, execute the executables, and you should have the server running quite nice. Just open up the game. Make sure you get this line on your host file. Probably those of you who play Lineage 2 are well aware of this. So make sure you got this line, and that's pretty much it. The accounts are auto-created automatically. Don't expect a lot of features. But yeah. And if you would like to join the Discord, this is the link. And yeah. Oh, look at this to-do list. Everything checked. Nice. Very nice. Alright, guys. So yeah. Download the project, play with it, drop me a line on the Discord if you like. And I think I'm gonna see you. When am I going to stream next? Because I got the schedule, but let's be honest, how many people do follow the schedule? So I don't know how am I going to stream next? Probably someday in the week. But in the meantime, guys, take good care, and I will see you when I stream again. So I hope you enjoyed this one. Take good care, guys.